Hey everyone, you're here with Mark Batwell at PerfectGardens.com. So next product in the NPK Industries feed schedule is potassium. Once again, I'm going to point out some of the things I love about this company that I don't find in other companies in this industry. And it might be because of them just not being thoughtful. I personally think of it because whoever's in charge of this company, they're probably a higher functioning autistic human being. Either way. So what's something I love about this product is they have all of the MSDS charts. And so you are able to click on these and it takes you directly to the MSDS sheets. And this is what legally by law, every product that gets shipped to you, they are required to give you access to this information. And it's really interesting. I learned that when I was in the military, and when paramedics show up on scene, if there's a chemical, they need to be able to reference the MSDS sheet. So that's the one thing, again, I love about this company. Feed charts are easy to find. Okay, so this product is going to be really easy to break down because it has actually only one product in the package. It is potassium sulfate derived from soluble potash. So if you're not sure what potassium is predominantly used for in the plants, potassium is to help with flower development. I know that sounds great, right? You want something that's going to help produce flowers because in this industry, you get paid predominantly on two things: yield and quality. So you kind of have to have a 50-50 split. You kind of have to take into consideration yield versus quality during every single grow. A lot of growers that don't really have experience seeing the full potential of these plants when everything's right, in my viewpoint, growing with a microbiology system, a lot of beginning growers will not see the cons and they'll only see the pros. And when I mean the pros, they're going to see big, gigantic flowers. A lot of growers are men, obviously, so they like holding big things in their hands. And I hate to say it like that, but it is true. It's a real ego trip. So a lot of beginning growers will use a little bit of potassium, see a yield difference, and then they'll just dump it on the next time. The issue with potassium, though, is that if you use it too much, a lot of other products are created like Phospholode or the Hulk. A lot of products out there that are additional potassium supplements that you might want to venture into. Bloom Blastic. And what you want to be aware of and just be careful specifically is the natural oil production on the plant, because that's what potassium is actually going to hinder. When the plants are growing and focusing on the flower size, they are not producing natural oils on the plant. Most experienced growers, when given enough time, and especially when you have to get your product out into the marketplace and you begin to run into issues, or people begin to want to return your product, or they begin to haggle you quite a bit, or they say that there's no smell or real bag appeal, you begin to start to battle your own mindset and your own thought processes, because you are holding your hard-earned work, right, for months. You've been growing this, loving it. You've even added extra potassium. You made it bigger, but then the marketplace rejects it. And through that repetitive cycle, over time, most growers will learn the right times when to add additional potassium and when to begin to cut it back, so that you're maxing out the yield and the quality. Once again, the reason why I love this brand is because it uses a sulfated mineral. And so right here, it's going to be potassium sulfate, is also called phosphate of potash, or potash of sulfur, is an inorganic compound with the formula K2SO4. It is commonly used in fertilizer, providing both potassium and sulfur. I always talk about the importance of a sulfated mineral, and there is a YouTube video that I'm going to play right now that I think will really change your mind, because this 1 6-minute clip is going to explain to you literally how the ocean produces all the food for the life within the water.
Every day, dozens of volcanoes around the world are erupting, while 4,000 earthquakes shake the ground. Our Earth is dynamic. constantly ejecting gases and magma from its depths, and some of this activity has a vital impact on life. The secret to understanding how lies deep beneath the ocean surface. Here, a crucial chemical reaction takes place between molten rock and deep ocean water. The Jason satellite's sea surface mapping radar reveals a chain of active volcanoes a mile and a half down at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. This is where that critical interaction between molten rock and freezing water takes place, ultimately rising to the surface and contributing to an amazing explosion of life. And we can see this activity with NASA's Aqua satellite, which is equipped with instruments that observe the Earth in many wavelengths of the electromagnetic spectrum. One tool is called MODIS.
MODIS is pretty much the crown jewel of the Aqua satellite. It's an enormous scanner, so it basically covers the whole world every day.
MODIS scans the ocean in the infrared and the visible portions of the spectrum. It can detect extremely subtle changes in the temperature and color of the water.
So what we have in space is an instrument that looks at very, very small parts of the spectrum. And we measure how much light comes back in each part of the spectrum.
Looking down at the west coast of South America, MODIS detects an upwelling of cold water 150 miles west of Peru. Then it detects a particular shade of green. This identifies the source as chlorophyll, a sign of plant life. It's clear that the satellite has spotted a massive bloom of tiny organisms called phytoplankton. Just below the surface, these phytoplankton are absorbing the rich soup of minerals that have come from the deep ocean.
They replicate very, very fast. So you can have a plankton bloom that doubles over the course of a day.
It's the minerals from beneath the Earth's crust that have helped fuel this vast explosion of plankton, over 800,000 tons of living material. And that's only the beginning. This plankton is the base of the food chain for marine life. The bloom triggers one of the largest feeding frenzies on Earth. Reveals similar upwellings all around the world, delivering nutrients, seen here in pink, into the surface waters. Each upwelling triggers a plankton bloom.
Phytoplankton provide that key link between this energy out here, the raw materials that this planet holds, and the food engine that allows life to flourish.
Okay, so if you're still here with us right now, I think you're beginning to understand why I'm always talking about sulfated minerals. You really got to sit back and think about it for a second. Why would you want to do anything different than Mother Nature? I mean, she's refined her process over millions and millions of years. I mean, depending upon what books you're reading, people say that we've had 12 or 13 civilizations that have reached this level of technology. A lot of people talk about humans being a species that has went through amnesia multiple times because we've had huge catastrophes and have forgotten the knowledge. And we, in a sense, have to go back and relearn it over and over and over again. So I want you to know, don't feel bad that you having to relearn everything everything that our educational system's been teaching you about fertilizer and growing your own food, if they even do teach people. When you look in the back of these bottles, do your best to be more aware of what these fertilizers are derived from. These minerals were designed a certain way so that the microbiology that lives on the surface of our soil and throughout our planet can communicate properly. We have to get out of our ego and stop thinking that we know more than Mother Earth. Gaia is our creator. She is our mother. She birthed us. She nurtured us. And she has designed her environment to give us the highest quality food so that we are capable of reaching our highest potential. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, and have a great growth, everyone.